Hello YouTube, my name is OverWatch and welcome back to Can They Be DLC Final Season, Season 3, Episode 2, with Tracer being the theme of this episode. So first things first, we're going to have to talk a little bit about the news, was there any news? I think there was news. I'm trying to remember what news there was this week that I can remember. I know that in the news we had Astro Chain doing pretty well. Is already confirmed the success, at least by what Platinum Games was expecting. Same thing for Fire Emblem, which continues to do tremendously well. And I think that's about it. Oh no, a couple things came out, did forget about that. A bunch of awards that Sakurai won and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate won at TGS, with the Grand Award, Outstanding Award for an in-game or from a Japanese game. It was the Sales Award, and there was another award. I forget which award was. I know they won 4 awards at TGS. Great for Sakurai and for Smash. Sakurai also confirmed that this was the last game, the last request that his good friend Satoru Iwata gave to him, and it's still sad that that happened. It's not that that happened. It's sad that Iwata still passed away. And another thing was that there was, like we were all expecting, a crap ton of mistranslations in the Nintendo Direct for Sakurai. Like the Souls comment that he kept on making literally meant jack and shit. He was mentioning poor characters, nothing to do with Souls, but you know, the NOA and NOE doing great translation work. Just like at the end, saying that Super Smash Bros. And Sakurai wanted to continue expanding on the game worlds that Smash collabs with, when Sakurai really said in Japanese, I would like to, one character expands the world of Smash, nothing to do with worlds and, you know, thinking that characters will expand or that. So there was a lot of people taking the comment of the worlds being expanded on, meaning third parties, because, you know, Nintendo apparently has no new franchises that are available for Smash, or even characters that come from different worlds within those franchises. But that should settle it a little bit. So yeah, we don't really know. Also, it was confirmed during TGS that Level 5 is porting Yokai Watch to the PS4. Now, you might ask yourself, what the hell does that have to do with Smash Bros or anything? It doesn't. It literally doesn't. I mean, a level 5 character could come to Smash, but that's not the point I wanted to make, or even why I brought it up. I'm bringing it up because I want to make a prediction right here that I don't think level 5 will be making it. I'm guessing in the next 5 years they'll close down, because it's a desperation move, much like Yokai Watch 1 remastered or HD or whatever is coming to the Switch next month in Japan. I'm guessing they're very close to dying. They mismanage franchises all the time, so I'm guessing it's one more mismanagement they did, and it reeks of desperation, in my opinion. In a lot of people's minds, it's hilarious though that Nintendo fans called desperation when Yokai Watch 1 was announced for Switch. They called it was a desperate move because of how mismanaged the franchises, their level 5 franchises have been. And now Sony fans are gushing over the game coming to PS4 and how they're getting it day one, and how it's a great move to expand the franchise, even though the franchise most likely will do like 50k in Japan, and saying like, it's great for the kids in the West are gonna love it, despite the fact that the Switch Lite is coming, and the Switch Lite is going to be far cheaper than PS4, and unless it's PS4, you know, used PS4. Although I never seen a used PS4 on sale, I don't exactly know what's the price those go for. Given the fact that the regular PS4 is still 400 euros, or no, 300 euros. I'm guessing that the resale price is still pretty up there, at the very least the 200s. But they're gonna get, somehow, some way, they're gonna get it to the kids in the West. But I just wanted to make that also, that again, that was funny, because they were saying that Nintendo fans were crybabies and that they were hypocrites because we wanted Nintendo to get, you know, Persona 5 and we didn't get it. And when a studio doesn't port for Nintendo, we get upset. When Nintendo's first party or third party exclusives port and go multi-platform, we also cry because we don't like it. I'm just saying, it's hilarious when, you know, that's not, it's comparing apples to oranges, but you know, the Nintendo fans supposedly are the ones that are little kids sometimes. But hey, it happens on both sides. I just thought it was hilarious, and I also wanted to bring out the fact that, to be completely honest, in a couple of years, level 5 most likely will either be completely dead and shutting down, or somebody will buy them. I don't think it will be bought by Nintendo or Sony. I doubt either or wants to buy them. They might buy some of the IPs, and even then I don't know what Sony would do with some of the IPs, like Professor Layton or your Kai Watch. You know, I don't know what they would do with them. I don't even know if your level 5 has a lot of IPs that Sony would enjoy, but that's by the point. I just wanted to make that prediction, even though it's years away. But anyway, let's get on to the topic of today, which is Tracer from Overwatch. And can she be DLC? Well, this is the first episode where we have to discuss a character and not just think Challengers Pack 5 or Fighters Pack 5. We can also think post Fighters Pack. Can she make it? Will she make it? Well, it's a weird scenario. Can she make it? She can, she logistically can, and it will be interesting because we don't have a first-person shooter character in the game. It will be interesting to see a character be built from the ground up with that moveset in mind. We don't have it, we haven't had it yet in Smash, so it would be very interesting to at very least see what can be done with a shooter or a first-person shooter. Now, should she be the first one? No. If we get like a character like Doomslayer first, which should honestly be the first real first-person shooter to get into Smash, obviously she can. But then again, there's characters that we never thought were going to get into Smash Brothers over other characters, and they still made it in. I would have never said Joker or Bayonetta should get in before the Belmonts, for example. There's third-party characters that definitely deserve the spot in Smash more than others, but you never know. She can do it. She would be cool, and yeah, it will also be interesting because like as of right now we have yet to get a female character's DLC. Not that I think it matters, but at least she and other characters like Shantae are female characters that people are requesting and talking about because they make sense, not just because of they're women. I know that Jill, for example, in the last couple of months has been getting a lot of popularity in the people saying like she's gonna be in DLC for Smash because she's a woman. They dismiss everything else about other characters that make more sense to represent Resident Evil, as in just she's a woman. Doesn't matter anything else, which is a little bit of a bad argument, I feel like. I think Jill could be in Smash. I don't think she would be the main character, like the main icon. I think, like for example, if we get a Resident Evil character, we could very likely see a hero scenario where they have like 4 characters in with Chris, Leon, Jill, and Claire, I think, as the 4 characters, but I see more of Chris or Leon as the main character on the character select screen because they're more, you know, iconic or the mascots of the franchise. Even more recently, Capcom did a whole banner for a store I think they're opening, and they chose Chris. So I think here would be practically the same thing. Chris was also in Resident Evil 7, and Leon just I don't think needs any introduction to the Nintendo universe. But hey, that's just my opinion. I think that if we're going to ask for female characters, at least go for ones that actually make sense outside of just vagina. With Tracer and Shantae make perfect sense. They're great characters that don't need the whole thing behind them. And I know I know how some people take these types of arguments, but hey, that's just my opinion, and I know some people be like, you're a dude, your opinion in this scenario doesn't matter, but hey, I'm just giving my opinion. Everybody has an opinion, right? I think that like Shantae is one of my most wanted characters. I don't think it's, and I want her because of she's a cool character. I don't think because like she's an attractive female character, because I can't, because I'm 25 and she's 16 in the games, and that's kind of creepy. Just saying, just going with that. Also, a really neat one would be that, technically speaking, she will be the first gay character in Smash. I know that Corrin counts as a bisexual character. It's true, they do. But we don't have an actual gay or lesbian character as just that. You know, Corrin is bi, sure, by the canon of, you know, Corrin can choose either a female partner or a male partner, independent of them being a male or a female. But we don't have a character that's just one, you know, just gay or just a lesbian instead of both sides. I know some people like to say Ike is, but I don't think it's ever been confirmed Ike is gay. I know that, like, I think he has a canonical girlfriend or wife, I don't know. So Tracer would have basically would not be the first LGBT character, but she would be the first L character from that group. We already have a B, we need the L, kinda. We don't need the L, but still, it'll be an interesting choice to make. It'll be cool to see. And yeah, the entire moveset, the stage, I don't know much from Overwatch, if you can tell. So, but I don't know. I think there's one stage. Well, I think it was Blizzard Park or Overwatch Park in the game. I don't know. It'll be cool to see enter in the game as the stage, which could work well. I think that one thing that she she would have going, for example, would be her Gambi, which would be really interesting because I know she zooms around. Would be zooming around. The down B could be that, but I'm not unsure of how it would work exactly, because I'm thinking like the professor from Fire Emblem Three Houses could work, or Byleth, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, could be like walking back in time and then forward, or like walking back would be like their counter, and but instead of being a counter, it's a down B where you go back like a couple of seconds of time to your previous position, or in movement, which instead of being a recovery could just be a counter. It could just work normally. It wouldn't need to be like, oh, you hit me with a move, I'm just gonna go back out. Like, it could be like, I made a dumb decision, I'm gonna back out. And you could, like, if you let go, it would stop the movement. For example, you bait out a move like I don't know, any forward smash or something, and you bait it out by down being away from it, and just as you're out of it, you can hit the opponent. Both of these characters could have that. It would be very, very interesting to see either one working on it. But as a character, I don't know. I don't think she's going to be Fighter Spec 5. I think Fighter Spec 5 is either going to be Doomslayer or Shantae. And for the DLC post, we don't know how many characters we're going to get, but it will be interesting to see. Like, she will be an interesting one. It could happen. I don't 100% think she will be, but I'll give it like a 50-50. There's a chance she could be the Blizzard character. We don't have a Blizzard character, and that's the thing. Unless Blizzard and Activision count together as one company for Smash, I think she would be beat out by Crash Bandicoot, because, you know, he's a big mascot, and it would be really cool to see the 4 big mascots, or the 4 big platformer games from the 90s all represented in Smash, with Crash being the final one missing, which would be neat to see. And I think she would be behind Crash, and if it is Blizzard Activision count as one, then Crash should be the first one. But if it's both companies separated, like we're gonna have a Blizzard, or we're gonna have an Activision character and a Blizzard character, or like it's not like we need one character from Activision Blizzard, then she would be behind Crash. But if it was like Activision counts as one company, quote unquote, because they're together, and Blizzard counts as another, I could definitely see her making it in before Crash. But that will be it for this section of the video. Now let's go over to the comments, which we have quite a few to get through. So first things first, for the everyone revisited DLC or deluxe edition, we have Terry Servison saying, no, I'm not a leaker, it was just a lucky guess. Dude, just go with it. Just tell people that you're a leaker. That's how VergeBand and all the other leakers do it. They go with, oh yeah, so I know a lot. Look, who was it? I think it was Sabi. They didn't know anything about SNK. Oh no, it was something else. And she's like, oh yeah, people are gonna like it or something like that. I forget what it was, but it was very recent, like such a blank statement that would be, it's one of those things. But you should definitely go with it. I've even planned on doing it. I'm obviously not going to do that because now it's on video, but like I would love to create an account on like 4chan or Reddit and clip through my videos and like all the shit that I got right, and predictions videos dating all the way back to 2017, and be like, look at this guy, he's clearly an insider, look at all the things he got right, and the things that he got wrong was just like to spice up the video and shit like that, just to see how far people would believe it. It'll be funny as hell to do it, but because now I'm said it in a video, I can't do it, but it's still a funny thing. If Sora does become a DLC fighter, Disney will most likely want Nintendo to charge more for Sora than other DLC fighters, and would most likely want 100% of the profits. If any Mortal Kombat character gets in, will most likely be just a Mii costume regardless of who they choose. The Pokemon franchise really doesn't really use "Gotta catch 'em all" as a tagline in video games much anymore. I think Wonder Red costume, Mii costume, is all we're gonna get. I found a tweet that shows Shantae, Sans, and Shovel Knight, and it says assist trophy above Shovel Knight, Mii costume above Sans, and for Shantae it basically says she should become a playable, and I believe we'll be getting Shantae as a DLC fighter. If we get Agumon, I hope they use classic design as a default skin, while Agumon with the belts across his hands, claws as the alt. If and when Shantae and or Gino get in, that would prove that to everyone that spirits don't deconfirm characters in regards to the fifth challenger pack, Jesus, with Sakurai saying the word Souls a lot during Banjo-Kazooie presentation, with some people thinking it was him hinting at either Dark Souls, which I highly doubt, or a Soul Calibur character, which I can see happening. In regards to Tracer, I could see getting in a Mii costume at least. I forgot a Mii costume possibility. If we get Crash, she could be a Mii costume, but then again, it doesn't seem like Mii costumes are tied to anything anymore. Shantae, absolutely, I would love to see her as DLC. I know I made my video on the DLC, possible DLC, and I included Wonder Red just because is a character that I like to see, and if he gets in, Diplomacy will have reign supreme and was successful. If he doesn't get in, well, Diplomacy has failed, ladies and gentlemen. And I forgot completely in that video to say, like, oh, if he doesn't make in, I think Dixie would most likely be above him, but that was beside the point. Sakurai didn't say Souls in the Japanese version, so that was much more of a translation thing, which it could have still been hinting at something. You never know with Nintendo. They could have really been like, oh yeah, let's put Souls in here so that people like get in their head of like, and even if it wasn't, they're like, let's do it so people think it's a thing so that they can speculate and talk more about Smash Bros, which brings attention to us. So it's always the thing that they do. And then we're gonna go into Obese Rob that said at 1 minute 30. I believe it said in the bottom of the screen that they'll be sold like Smash 4. Here's the thing, I said it in my DLC predictions. It doesn't really matter what they say because you can also buy the Fighters Pack separately, so it's unclear. I do think it's going to be a combination of both. We're going to get a Fighters Pack and characters a la carte, because now I believe they're going to have much more freedom. And hey, this probably sold, if this sold well enough for them to be like, hey, well, let's do Fighters Pack 2 or more DLC. I believe they're going to do the same thing here. Be like, hey, let's just do more. Then at 12 minutes 30 seconds, Spider-Man and Sora isn't really compatible. Spider-Man is one of the profitable characters of all time, and Disney main division was trying to make more from a rival company whose relationship with them has only lasted a couple of years. Meanwhile, Sora makes Disney significantly less and don't put any effort into Smash. Since their 60-year partnership makes Disney Japan says something along the lines of, if Nintendo wants Sora in Smash, all they would have to do is ask Nomura, and then us, and we'll go ahead and hand it to them. I'll say something about that particular point because it's a point I've seen being brought up, and there's something there's a very close analogy to this, but I'm going to save it for after the rest of the comment, because it actually happened something similar to another character, and I predicted correctly for a while what was happening, so I'm going to leave it for a little bit. In an analogy for it, I think you have a disc diamond and someone you thought of as an enemy tries to take it from you, versus having a pebble that your close friend wants for their rock collection. You try to keep the diamond but gladly give your old friend a pebble. Obviously this is a gross oversimplification, but the Sony situation doesn't compare to Smash at all. We'll get to that in a little bit. As for Nintendo film rights, Nintendo and Disney settled on creative differences on it. Miyamoto wanted more control, so Disney said, okay, we'll respect that. Meanwhile, they brought the rights to the broadcast of Pokemon anime. I don't know if that's worldwide or just the US. As I know, it usually is different per country, as well as many other themed shows still in production. Well, what other Nintendo themed shows are in production? I know they... first things first, massive difference between the Pokemon and the anime rights and all the other stuff, because that's the Pokemon company, not really Nintendo. And even then, I believe it's 4 kids doing the thing, but that doesn't really matter. And it's just for the States. I know it released in Portugal. It's not on Disney. any of the Disney channels. It's on another television channel. I don't know how much Marvel. I don't know about the creative control. Even if Disney Miyamoto wanted more control, I don't know why Disney wouldn't be like, okay, we do it. Because let's be completely honest, there's a lot of money to be made in a Nintendo franchise, movies, and especially if you can work into making Super Smash Brothers. Because let's be completely honest, especially now with Spider-Man out, Marvel doesn't exactly have a main face for the MCU, and it's not looking good for it. There's a reason why they're doing all the TV shows with other characters, and like we have like a couple movies coming out that are actually what people want to see. Maybe Black Panther would be the face of the MCU, or maybe Doctor Strange will. It's between the two now, but that's not the discussion here. But the things I wanted to talk about is the oversimplification of both of the Diamond one and the if Nintendo wants it. So first let's talk about the Spider-Man doesn't compare to Smash. It does, in a way. What's the biggest mashup movie of all time? Avengers. By the way, it is a mashup movie. It's not a crossover. Doesn't matter what Disney wants to call it. A crossover is what Smash is. Smash Bros. 64 and Melee or mashups. Smash Bros. Brawl 4 and Ultimate crossovers. Why? Because it's different companies owning different games. It's not at all like, for example, Marvel versus DC. No, Marvel versus DC crossover. Marvel versus Capcom crossover. Also, again, so what's the biggest crossover there in the movies? Mashup? Avengers. What's the biggest crossover in gaming? Smash Bros. But here's a bigger one. What would you say makes Disney a lot of money? Marvel. Okay, Marvel makes them a lot of money. So why wouldn't they want the game of, I don't know, Marvel vs. Capcom to be good? Like, real good? And like, not be like super realistic or like, whoa, let's put this, make them seem as close to the original. I was going with this and I forgot completely. Here's the thing, I started to say it and then midway through I forgot what I wanted to say. How I was gonna tie it up together. And I'm trying to get it back, but hey, the thing is, Smash Bros. Is it's the Avengers of video games, and they very much would like a better deal for themselves, and I don't trust them at all. If you want to trust them, that's fine, but that's not at all what's gonna happen. Also, if Nintendo wants Sora in Smash, that's what I wanted to say. In 2014, there was one random guy from Microsoft that said, if Nintendo wants it, we'll give it to them, Banjo-Kazooie, and that guy was Phil Spencer. And at the time, and after, and after, and after, and well until this year, I always said that those sentences mean jack and shit. Here's the thing, he stopped saying them, funnily enough, around April last year, May last year, but I said it didn't mean nothing. It meant jack and shit. You wanna know why? Because even back then I'm like, he's just a guy from Microsoft. He's just one dude. Yeah, he's the head of Xbox, but that still means nothing. You wanna know why? He's not the main guy. He's not the guy that talks directly to the boss. Because unless you're a guy that is under the boss or like in the board of direction or one of the main team members, Microsoft is gonna do what Microsoft wants. And to be fair, I did call it. Up until this year, there was no chance of Banjo-Kazooie making it in Smash. Or I should say last year when the negotiations began. But he became basically, he only responds nowadays to the CEO. So before he had to go through other people to get to the CEO. Now he just talks to the CEO. The character happened. Why? Because he has a different strategy. And Microsoft has gone with that strategy. If Phil Spencer had this strategy in 2014 of like, let's put our games on Switch, let's try to get conversation with Sony, Microsoft was not gonna be like, yeah, let's do that. Microsoft very clearly has moved away from that. If they hadn't moved from that, the entire company, Banjo-Kazooie would have never happened, no matter what Nintendo wanted. And one random guy from Japan, it doesn't matter if it was the president of Disney Japan. You wanna know why? Because it obviously was gonna be like, no matter who asked them, they would be like, oh yeah, we really want it. If Nintendo's down for it, we're totally down for it too. Who was the name of the guy that one of the guys, I know it's a Sony dude. Is it Shu Yoshida? I think that's the name of him. If you ask him, hey, do you want Kratos in Smash Bros? He's gonna be like, yeah, great, that's lovely. We would like that. Nintendo should come to us. Nintendo could go to them and then Kazurai be like, no, fuck you, get out of my building. Kazurai be like, we don't want to talk. Out. Same thing could happen here. And Smash is a big deal. Yes, it's not, well, probably made as much money as the Avengers because games cost less money to make and bring in more per sale or per unit. I don't want to sound dismissive or anything, but again, Sora to me is a never ever. You wanna know why? Because we've been here before with inevitable characters. And I feel like Sora is the character that I've been hearing it for about a year now. Since Joker was revealed especially, Sora is gonna happen. Sora is inevitable. And then when Hero was out, like, don't die on Sora. Sora is still happening. Come on, guys, believe. And not only that, the relationship between Nintendo and Disney is so important. Again, not gonna mention again the movies and the theme parks and all that stuff. Miyamoto wanted more control. There are still other Nintendo characters and other things they could have gotten. I don't know why they couldn't have gotten, for example, Metroid. That has nothing to do with Miyamoto. And Nintendo most likely will want to have as many movies out as possible. They cannot really rely on all the same franchises. In movies especially, they could like legit just be working on different stuff all the time. But it's the fact that like how many Disney games are on Nintendo? Like the Capcom Disney Afternoon Collection didn't come to Nintendo systems, or it did to the 3DS, I think. We don't have Star Wars on Switch. We're gonna have that one N64 port, but we don't have Star Wars games on Switch. Kingdom Hearts has yet to make an appearance on Nintendo. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in January. We're yet to see it. And again, Disney could have easily been like, that's making money, why don't you go there? It's clear that Disney doesn't really give a shit about gaming, but if the time came, they would be smart enough to be like, okay, so Nintendo wants a character for Smash Bros. What's a Smash Bros? Then they see what Smash Bros is and be like, we can get a lot of money from this. Let's raise the price. Let's make the best deal possible. I don't trust Disney. You may trust Disney. I don't trust those motherfuckers. I don't trust them. I don't trust Nintendo. I don't trust anybody. And I don't think it's happening. And it's better to think it's not happening at all and be surprised when it happens than be like, done deal, like I've seen a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans. It's exactly the same shit as Ridley. Ridley for years was happening. Then it didn't. You wanna know why Ridley did? Because Sakurai was like, the fans want it so much, let's try to figure out how we could do it. And I think, honestly, that Ridley would have still not made it in if Sakurai didn't go with the different characters from the same franchise representing different games. Because like Zelda has Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, all represented in Smash, instead of being like, oh, Breath of the Wild. All the characters are going to be like in the Breath of the Wild design. You know? Before, they wouldn't have done that. And even the Metroid franchise, I don't think Dark Samus would have made it in if they didn't go with this. Because in Metroid, we now have the original Metroid with Ridley, Metroid Prime with Dark Samus, and then Other M with Samus and Zero Suit. Yeah, and I hope I didn't come off too aggressive there. Sometimes I do. I hope I didn't. And if I did, I apologize. But I just like, Sora is just a character that annoys the hell out of me nowadays. Just the worst. Because Kingdom Hearts fans are draining. It's exactly like Ridley. Ridley for the longest time. In Smash 4, if you ask me, do you think Ridley's gonna make it in? I would have said no. Not because of the character, but because of the fan base being annoying. I remember Ridley fans being like, what was it? October. September 2014, well after Sakurai talked about Ridley being a boss, because it was clear he was a boss. They're like, no, it's happening. Then the game came out, the 3DS version, and they're like, no, it's still happening. He's gonna be the character that fuses the game. When you get both versions, you get the character. And then we had the thing that was the 55th extravaganza, and they announced him as a boss, and like, he could still make it in his DLC. And it was one of the things like, oh my god, kill me, kill Ridley. I don't want Ridley no more. Just die. I just want the conversation to die. And Sora has reached that peak for me nowadays. Like, everything that's put up against it, every time something happens, either they're like, they can never end. It just doesn't end. And I want it to end, honestly. At this point, I just want the confirmation that will never be in. Like, Goku, that's the other thing. Goku was finally buried again, but people are gonna still ask for Goku because, of course, they are. Damn it! I shouldn't have done that. I said it once and I'll say it again. And this time it's permanent. Unless I do another Everyone's Revisited, which I'll do at the end of the year, I'll refrain from discussing Sora because I'm so tired of the character, honestly, and I just don't want it in because of the fan base. If it was, it's like exactly like Waluigi too. I don't want Waluigi in because of the fan base. Like the fact that we are in 2019 and people are still saying that the game has been out for almost a year and people are still thinking Waluigi's gonna make it in. I'm like, just let it go already. Maybe next time you'll get lucky, but not this one. Still, let's keep moving. I need to drink something. In 29 minutes 36. Also, the last comment, this comment, and the next comment will also be from a Beast Rob at the DLC or Everyone is Revisited Deluxe Edition. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, YouTube lets companies copyright strike videos as long as there's some connection tissue. In both cases, both are Mario RPG songs with Mario in the title of the videos, but Megalovania. As an example of YouTube doing something similar is YouTuber Nugget made a video about Pokemon with 0 clips from the Pokemon anime, yet the company behind the anime copyright striked the video, not Nintendo themselves. Sure, but again, Megalovania. 9 months ago, I believe it was 9 months ago, Megalovania was copyright struck by Nintendo. I don't see how there's any tissue there to make the thing. But hey, I don't know. I'm just reporting what might be something that happens. 32 minutes 28 seconds. Sakurai saying souls a bunch may have been a mistranslation. It was a mistranslation. In Japan they didn't use it. I believe it was talking about 4 characters, not 4 souls. So, but it could have still been a hint by the Nintendo Europe, America thingy. Where was it? As the specific form of soul, he couldn't be also translated to heart. I don't personally speak Japanese, just getting from some people who do obviously take with a grain of salt. Yeah, pushed us and also came on Twitter and said, like, we talked to a few translators. He said something different. Same thing with World of Smash. Like he said, expanding the World of Smash. One character expands the World of Smash while everybody, the US version, I don't know about the European version. Because I don't like to see the European version because I want to hear what he's talking about. I want to hear, I don't want to read. Watching the direct, it's the same thing, like I hate subtitles in movies and shows and games. And games sometimes I like because like the only time I do enjoy it is because like sometimes you hear something but you don't quite understand what they're saying and subtitles help with that way. But a lot of it was mistranslated and like they said again, they said, oh, let's explain the world of Smash. One character expands and they're like, let's connect Smash to other gaming worlds. So, you know, and people took it as third parties. That's beside the point. And then finally, Terry Servanson again in the post DLC pack video. The predictions, Bleeth is pronounced Byleth. I think there's a video from Nintendo where they say how it's pronounced, but then again, we don't know. I still say that the character from Skyward Sword was named Sfi, and in the Nintendo Direct they called her Fi, and I hate them since that day. But then again, they had another video, I think, where they called her Fi. It's a weird thing. I believe we'll get at least 10 more DLC fighters, and I believe that at least 2 of those fighters will be Gino and Shantae, unless Shantae is revealed as Challenger Pack 5. I also believe that. But I could see some additional DLC fighters with a stage and music, or a stage and or music. I think we could see Byleth or Bleeth, Dixie Kong, maybe Groki's Final Evolution, and maybe Elma. I could see Lloyd Irving or even Agumon getting in regards to Doomslayer and Sora. I could see them being Mii costumes. They could replace the Springman Assist Trophy with the robot duplicate Springtron in order to bring Springman as a fighter. I could see Master Chief getting in as a Mii costume. I think that if Crash does get in, he'll be the last DLC fighter that we get. So welcome to the dark side of wanting the Professor. I'm gonna call it the Professor, it's easier. The Professor. I know you asked for Edelgard. I like you also pulled for Edelgard in the past, but you know, the whole marketing of being the 3 houses, still feels weird to me that they would bring in somebody else. And yeah, but the problem is with Springman. The reason I don't want Springman to be DLC and replaced is because of the Waluigi fans. They already are bad enough the way they are right now with Waluigi will make it in with no evidence. Can you imagine them with the possibility? I don't. It's bad enough. They're bad enough as it is. It's not. It's just not. I want Springman in because Springman then could bring in like ARMS characters would also be open, and we could get like the Ribbon Girl, which could have the same moveset except she jumps 3 times. She could be an Echo that jumps 3 times instead of 2. We could have a Twin Tail that her slows time somehow, some way. I don't know. Be weird. But yeah, let's. Although I love it, let's not, because you know how people are, and again, Waluigi fans, they're bad enough as it is. You give them a slight chance of hope, and they're gonna kill us all. And I don't want to die yet. Grookey, here's the thing. I used to also think in the past, like we're gonna get in Smash 4 specifically, I thought we were gonna get and when we didn't know about DLC pack or Smash Ultimates, everyone's here. I also thought they were gonna bring in a grass starter. I'm guessing you're saying the grass starter for some reason I do, which was we already have a fire starter, we have a water starter. Why not bring the grass starter? I used to think that as the DLC for Smash 4 and then for the main roster of Smash Ultimate, but the characters get chosen by the Masuda and Sakurai, and who's going to become popular or who they're going to push as the main star of the Pokemon games. And spoiler alert, or in the anime too, that's what I was going to say, spoiler alert, in the anime, Ash is now the Pokemon League champion, so Ash is going to be most likely not going to return as the main character for the next games because, or the next anime, because he already did what he wanted to do. He's the Pokemon League champion. What is that for him to do? My bet, not much. So I'm guessing that the face could be just the next starter that the next character picks up. It's likely, it could happen, assuming again that Ash is out. So yeah. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been the Legend of the S. Join me next time as we discuss the next character, which is going to be Fiora from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.